Today, let's talk a little bit about mental stack or conscious distribution and make sure that we are focusing on the right things during our games. Mental stack is a fighting game term, and it simply means players are keeping so many things in mind while they're competing, namely referring to things in game that you need to keep in your mind and watch out for, or basically pressure. Now, all pressure is internal. It comes from within ourselves, so we can control it. But of course, that's easier said than done. It can be hard. For the most part and for most people, a lot of pressure, too much pressure is going to be a hindrance to performance. They're going to be playing worse. Some people might even play slightly better. And then there are some rare instances where players will actually thrive under pressure. But that's a whole nother topic. As for mental stack, now I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That stack ain't getting any lighter. However, it's something that we can hone and train, and it gets stronger with familiarity. So it helps to relieve some of that pressure that we feel. Too much pressure or mental stack or things on your mind, even random things outside of the game, things that might be bothering you or troubling you in real life, they're all distractions. The more that you're distracted, the higher chance that your performance is going to suffer. So I'd recommend only playing once you're in a good mental state, free of any burden or weight that's going to be holding you back. And once you manage to get past that part, then we can focus on the important things. I can't make it any easier, but I can point out what types of things to be looking out for and keeping in your mind. For example, in this first clip, I'm giving Cypher chase, and both of us were running at full speed. He starts to walk and reload his weapon when we are both over at C-Link towards B site. And when he started walking, I started walking because I didn't want to be running, stomping towards him, giving sound cues that I'm approaching him. And because of that awkward situation, I don't know if he's holding me or what, so I can't just walk in there as well. So at first, there's a lot of time. He could be going anywhere. If he plants B, that's very straightforward, and if I engaged him really quickly after the plant was committed, he wouldn't have very many spots that he can be hiding in because I was right there so quick. He has to be near the spike, or he can wrap around back to A or C site. Now, my personal experience in a 1v1 situation like this, most of the time it's best not to really fake it if you're the attacker. Just go ahead and full on rotate to the other side. Because most of the time as a defender, you're going to be anchored where you're at, what you have control of. Because most times it's safer, you're not sure exactly where they're going to be ending up. And you don't want to be walking around in random spots in the middle of the open, get caught off guard, and die for free. This is assuming that you have no hard information and are just going off of reads or feel.
Done cooked too hard.
Easy. There you are, you little
Keep a mental image of the map and things happening around you, everyone and everything on it, like utility or specific agents. If they're already dead, you don't have to worry about them, obviously. And keep track of things and you'll never be lost or caught off guard and will always feel like you're working towards something. So here's some examples on screen about what I keep in mind when I'm seeing specific agents. In regards to their role, pretty generic standard stuff. Then you gotta go a little bit deeper based on the matchup and go on a per agent basis. For example, Cypher Chips will always be up no matter where he is, but Killjoys has a range limitation. And that's a big difference in how they play, and it can give you info if you see KJ's turrets and alarm bots offline and stuff like that. So we ult beforehand, and we're going to take a peek down short A. We see nothing, so I'm going to take a little bit more space and insert myself into A lobby, into a spot that's not too obvious and catches a lot of people off guard. Our Jet was solo A long, and he was hiding in the corner. Doing that by himself, he couldn't see if anyone crosses or not, and because I didn't see anything, and there's a lot of activity towards garage side, he moves out of position and gets almost caught by the Cypher, but I'm gonna post up and stay waiting for him and his teammates instead of pushing out further because I don't know if someone's holding outside of A lobby, which they likely were. The reason why you don't want to fully run out there and fast flank is for two reasons. First of all, we heard a lot of sheriffs ringing out in garage and grass, so that means they're on a save round. If I rush out, flank out, and die, I give them a free gun, give them an advantage, and they have a way higher chance of winning the round. Now the second reason is, take a look at the minimap, and you're gonna notice that we see nobody on the map. None of the enemy on the map at all. That means even though they started garage and grass, they're not fully committed, they're not fully out. So if I were to flank, I'd be running into 5 of them with their guns trained on me. This is a mistake that a lot of flankers do at high elo, low elo, all across the board. When they decide to flank, they just commit to it and they just go for it. But you gotta find the right timing. Even though they didn't intentionally fake garage or C, sometimes they will. So you gotta kind of read the map and see when is the best time for me to flank and how far can I go, how much free space can I take without being punished. So if I were to fast flank, I would only do that if I see them, at least 4 of them, all running out on site already, flooded out. If they're not all spotted, then I would have to go very carefully checking every corner, looking for the missing players.
Guys, VALORANT.
Hi guys, where are
Huge
you?
round right now.
It doesn't help to complain, But it's good to at least point out or bring up problems, but to take it one step further, instead of being the guy that complains about an issue, try to be the one that offers solutions, or work with a team towards solving those problems together. For the most part, keep it simple and don't overload your brain. In times of planning and thinking, they basically have to be done during times of downtime. Because basically, like a lot of other things in life, when something is live, you guys are going, in the heat of the moment, you don't really have time to stop and think and react. You kind of just have to do.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
But the things you do have to be led by smart intuition or instinct. So you gotta make those preparations beforehand so you don't fall flat on your face under pressure or freeze up and cause inaction. So during freeze time or buy time while the barriers are still up, instead of just mindlessly bunny hopping around in a circle, just think of a simple game plan for at least yourself, if not for your team or you and a teammate.
One enemy remaining. Defenders win.
Thank you for the carry, Reina.
And it doesn't even have to be like a fully fledged plan, but at least give you guys like a starting point so that y'all don't wander off into separate lanes one by one and get picked off. During the live rounds, however, focus and attention must be given in full to the round that's being played, as well as being able to adjust and read quickly when needed. A lot of times, hesitation will get you killed, so it's better to commit to something eventually instead of waiting around and ending up doing nothing. It can get you killed, or even worse, you might miss small windows of opportunity that could lead you to wins. Try to pick up on player tendencies and behaviors in the current server that you're in and beyond. This goes to speaking on trends and things like that, what people like to do in certain areas with certain agents, etc. This will lead you to your reads and your prediction being more likely correct. You shouldn't be an empty mind during buy time. You should be anticipating the enemy's plan or movement along with yours and your team's, like I mentioned earlier. At least try to have one step of a plan or a semblance of a plan. It goes a long way, and a lot of the time it's going to be a lot better than if the team was completely silent and everybody just has 5 separate thoughts going around in 5 different minds.
Shoot that guy, shoot the ace!
And last but not least, try to always understand. Understand the why behind the plans of the actions. And this goes for your enemies, but it also goes for yourself and your teammates. This goes a long way to strengthen your experience, to make that knowledge and experience stick with you and improve your game sense. Understanding the why gives you a deep level of understanding, which also leads to confidence instead of doubt and uncertainty, things like that. You'll still feel those things for sure. Everyone does, even professionals, professional athletes, professional fighters, racers. But it's being able to fight through that, push through that, that'll define what kind of player you end up being. To help you understand, this could lead you back to the trends and tendencies and behaviors that players tend to like to make during fights, like common rotation spots or common camping spots, common points of contact, so that you know when to be ready for a fight. It'll help you identify gaps in the enemy's setup, defense or offense, so that you can exploit it, take advantage, and sometimes even make unwinnable rounds winnable.
Let's fucking go.
By the way, this all works on a macro level as well as a micro level, so focus on the big picture first, and then take into account for each individual fight or duel that you're about to engage in, and you'll start to feel like everything went from 50-50 to the scales being tipped towards your favor.
You won't hold him.
Wow.
What the fuck? Did I say? Oh, don't.